Hello and welcome to the probably shortest video on my channel. If you're new here, my name is Justin. I make weekly videos where I go through some aspect of my budgeting process. Today I struggled to try to decide what I was going to film. I didn't really have much that I felt was warranted in making a video, but I got a surprise $250 that we can go ahead and allocate, but also I made changes to my budget again, and I figured maybe I could go over those. So I think in my last video I talked about wanting to consolidate some accounts a little bit further. So I've been kind of on this journey of trying to simplify my budget as best I can. Prior to a couple months ago, my budget worked for me. I had a number of accounts, probably to the tune of, I don't know, 15 or 20 accounts. But since then, I've consolidated it down to 6 accounts as we stand today, with the 3 credit cards not really counting as an account. But you'll notice that I don't have a discretionary checking account anymore. So I have consolidated that account into my main checking account. All that money is in that account. The debit card has been reassigned to that checking account, and I have closed that discretionary account. That means that now anytime I use money that I've set aside as fun money for something else, like an overspending, I don't have to transfer that money out of that account into my main checking account so that I can use it to pay bills. So it's going to simplify the transfers that I have to make. And that is really the only change that I've made to my accounts. I think really the only other consolidation that I could make is moving my emergency fund into my savings account. But honestly, I hesitate to want to do that because I really do like having my emergency fund money in a completely separate account, even though it's at the same bank, a completely separate account. For one, the interest that is accrued there, I know it's automatically going to be applied to the emergency fund area. And two, it just keeps that separation that makes me happy. So I'm probably going to keep my accounts the way they are for as long as I can be happy with them. But 6 accounts versus 15 to 20 is a lot more simplified. Additionally, you'll notice that all of my category group names are shortened, more direct. I thought I could get used to having a different setup where I used movie quotes to guide the function of those category groups. But what I found after a month is that I still struggled to locate items, which scares me because some items don't have targets. There isn't really a good way for me to add a target to it for it to make sense. And I don't want to miss something, but I also don't want to have to go through each category to make sure I didn't miss things. So I renamed everything to be a little bit more direct in what that group is for. As you can see, I've added a few things that have never been in my budget before, like a separate subscriptions group. That way, if, I really need to cut things from the budget, that would be the first place I'd go because subscriptions are not necessarily things that I need. And so if I needed to free up some money, obviously it would be there first. I also have short and long-term savings separated. These are both sort of sinking fund items, but the short term are items that I need within the year, right? So everything that's paid yearly. And then long term, that's basically like the things that I've never really had any money to set aside for. So retirement, big purchases like that. And honestly, now that I'm looking at it, I think I can probably move my global entry and my passport renewal probably to long term because those are like, I think every 5 and 10 years respectively. Um, so maybe I might move those. I don't know. But I have not had any struggles with knowing exactly where things are. I also added this fees today. Apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently, if you don't donate plasma or use the prepaid card that they give you, that they put your money on, after 90 days, they start charging you monthly fees, maintenance fees. And they took $3 this month from my account. So I had to kind of account for that somehow. So this fees was the way I did that. Um, yeah, so I think this is going to be my budget moving forward. I like the direction I'm going. It's getting more simplified, more kind of hands off, which makes me happy. So we'll go from there. But as far as the allocation, so this $250, I get seemingly randomly. It's tied to my VA benefits for going to school. So not only do I get a monthly, they call it a monthly housing allowance. It's based on the type of schooling that you're doing, where that school is located, um, and whether you're online, in person, full time, half time, kind of depends. But that I get every month. I'm able to estimate that based on how I am calculating my percentage rate, and it's been pretty accurate. What I haven't been able to kind of nail down is this periodic 250. So, in addition to the monthly housing allowance, you also get a yearly books and supplies stipend. This amount, from what I can gather, is $1,000 a year. When I was like full time traditional, what I remember is getting a portion of it, I think, in the fall and a portion of it in the spring. But it was like, usually I think it was like 500 and then 500. Why I'm getting 250, why it's been broken up seemingly randomly, right? It's not. My first one was in April, my second one was in May, and then I didn't get another one until July, and then I got one again in August. Like, I've gotten four, so that's 1,000. Does that mean I'm not going to get it anymore? I have no idea. I've still got, 4 or 5 months left in the year. So, um, I think I'm done getting it because I've gotten the 1,000 max. So we'll see. But I can do a couple things with this. As you can see, I am underfunded $200 in August. This underfunded amount is just $100 left for my vehicle maintenance account. And then graduation, they charge $200. And I think I need to apply for graduation soon, I think. So I could fund both of these and then I would have $50 to do something with or I could just throw this $250 in my emergency fund, or I could throw this $250 into September. As you can see, I'm underfunded $1,210. Honestly, each of these three methods will kind of be a wash at the end of the month. And so what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to completely fund the rest of August. So I'm going to put the $100 in vehicle maintenance, $100 in college graduation. And then because I used all of my fund money to kind of cover overspending with my gaming console that I recently purchased, I'm going to throw this extra $50 in discretionary to kind of build back up that money. I had almost $400 in this account, so I'm just going to throw that $50 in there and be on my merry way. So basically that means in September, my paychecks, well, my next paycheck next week will be just under $2,000. So I'll have, I don't know, 600, 700, 800, something like that left over that more than likely I might put towards emergency fund. So yeah, I think that's going to be my plan for my paycheck next week, but we'll go over that next week when I make my video. So I'll see you next week.